Good morning, guys. All right, so this video today is going to go along with the practice that I have posted for you. And we're going to talk about writing equations and then also how to check a solution. So starting off with writing equations. If you practiced last week with me, we did a practice on writing expressions, which is really similar. There was a cheat sheet of words. I'll post that again on today's post so that you guys can look at those. And we're going to basically be like trying to set up a problem, and this time the problem is going to have an equal sign and something that it equals. So there's a couple of keywords that I want you to be looking for. First, you're going to look for a keyword that tells me, am I adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? And then there's a keyword in each one of these sentences that tells me where an equal sign would go. And the equal sign word is really sneaky. It's a really small word, very common word that you wouldn't really necessarily guess. So the first sentence says 13 subtracted from W is 15. So the key word that tells me where an equal sign is actually the word is. So once I can find out where that is, sometimes it'll actually say equals, but I want to find where that equal sign goes first, because then it kind of splits my sentence into two parts. One part is going to be the problem. The other part is going to be the answer. So now I'm going to take it one side at a time to put my whole equation together. So I'm going to start with this first part that says 13 subtracted from W. So obviously I see the word subtracted, which tells me I'm going to be doing a subtraction problem. But I've got to be careful, and I talked about this in our last video with writing expressions. It says subtracted from. So it really means that I'm going to take away 13 from W. So when I write this, the W actually is going to have to go first, and I'm going to take away 13. All right, so I've written like an expression here, but I need to turn it into an equation. So it says that it's going to equal. And then if it doesn't say anything else other than a number, that tells me what it's going to equal. So here is my equation now. So I've got W minus 13 equals 15. And then these are like the ones that you just solved on Monday this week. All right, so let's try another one. So first thing I want to do after I read the sentence is I want to look for a word that might tell me where the equal sign should go, so I know where to break my problem into two parts. All right, so this says a number K increased by 7 is 34. Again, I told you that that key word for where the equal sign goes is the word is. All right, so now I've split my problem into two parts. I'm going to focus on this first part. Says a number K increased by 7. Increased hopefully is the word that you're tuning into, and increased tells me to add. So that means I need to make an addition problem of some kind on this side of the problem, and I've got K and I'm increasing, which means adding 7. So I'm just going to write that down, K plus 7. Got my equal sign, and I just have a 34 on the other side. Got nothing else to do with it. All right, now the trickiest one here is if they ever add a fraction in, and that's this last example I have for you. There's also one other trick to this that I want to show you. All right, so this problem says 8 is 1/4 of a number S. All right, so first I told you, let's look for where that equal sign should go. I see the word is, so I'm going to put my equal sign there. Now, the first trick for this problem is that we started with like the first part of the sentence. This just says 8. So, I can actually just write that down right here. So it's like really saying 8 equals. And then I'm going to have an actual problem like W minus 13, K plus 7 on this side of the equal sign, which is okay. All right, now on the other side it says 1/4 of a number S. Now, we've talked about a couple other small words that actually are very important, and it's this word of. And if you remember, the word of actually means to multiply. So I'm going to be taking this fraction and multiplying it by the letter S, which can be shown in a few different ways. So I can do 1/4. I could put a dot in there with the S. I don't want to put a multiplication sign because then it will look like I've got an extra letter in there. But I can also remove that and make it invisible multiplication where it would just say 1/4 S. Now, one other thing with this, it just looks kind of funny compared to the other equations that we wrote. And I want to show you that you can actually flip it around so that this equal sign is on the other side. So I could also write this equation as 1/4 times S equals 8. So all I really did was I flipped the equal sign to the other side and the 8. And that is A-okay. All right, so that was writing equations. Now, the second part of this that we have to talk about is how to check a solution. Now, I've talked to you guys about checking solutions before. And solution, remember, is just a key word for answer. So I'm really going to be asking you to check to see if the answer is correct. You're going to see this in two different kinds today. Two different forms. So in each of the problems that I've given you, I have an equation and then a comma and then an answer. So this answer, I want you to check to see if it matches the problem. So what I'm going to do is, instead of an x in my problem, I want to replace it with what it says x should equal. So instead of x, I should be putting a 6 in there. I'm going to repeat everything else that's already there. Just copy it right down. So instead of the x, I put 6 plus 1 equals 7. All right, I want to solve this side of the problem, and 6 plus 1 equals 7. And then I'm asking myself a very basic question at the end here. Does 7 equal 7? Is that true? If it is, then I would answer yes to that problem, saying, yes, 6 is the answer to that equation. If it doesn't match, then I would answer no. All right, so same thing over here. I've got a problem. I have y over 2, remember that means divide, equals 6. And I said here on the side that my answer for y is 10. So what I want to do is I'm going to put a 10 in there instead of the y. I'm going to divide it by 2. And it should equal 6. I want to check to see if that actually works. All right, so I'm focused just on this side, and I want to do 10 divided by 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5, and there's a 6 on the other side. And again, I'm asking myself, does 5 equal 6? And I know that those two are not the same. So again, I'm looking for a yes or a no answer. So I would say no, this is not the answer to the equation above. All right, so that is one of the sets of checking your answers. There is one more, and this one looks a little different. So this one actually, when you guys get into 7th grade math and 8th grade, you're going to be seeing more problems that have two variables, which means that there is a variable or a letter on both sides. All I want us to do again on this problem is try to check to see, does this answer, which looks a little goofy right now, but does this answer match this equation? So in this answer right here, there's actually some information that we have, even though it doesn't look like we've got much. Now, this is like an ordered pair, and those we used when we were graphing. So if you remember back to like graphing mystery pictures, this is an ordered pair that we put on a graph. And an ordered pair has a lot of information in it. The first number stands for x and the second number stands for y. So what I've really got here is it's really saying in this problem x is 2 and y is 21. So now that I know that bit of information, I'm going to actually put it into the problem where it belongs. So instead of a y, just like above, instead of a y, I'm going to fill in the number 21. I leave the 7 alone. And remember, if it just says 7x, that means I've got invisible multiplication there. So I'm going to do 7 times, instead of x, I'm going to fill in the number that belongs there. So I'm going to put a 2 in there. And again, I want to solve this part of the problem to see if both sides match. So I've got 21 on that side, and now I'm going to do 7 times 2, which equals 14. And I ask myself, does 7 equal 14? And I know for sure that those two are not the same, so my answer would be no. I'm saying no, this is not the answer to this equation. All right, let's try one more like that. So again, this ordered pair gives me the information that the first number stands for x, the second number stands for y. And I'm going to take that information and fill it into the equation that I've got. So instead of y, I'm going to fill in a 16. I am going to take that 3 and put it in there for x, and again, 5x means 5 times x. So I'm going to do 5 times 3 plus 1. All right, and again, I want to solve this side of the equation to see if it matches the other side. So first, I have to multiply if I follow order of operations. So I've got 15 plus 1, and I want to put that together. I now have 16 on this side, and 15 plus 1 makes 16. And 16 does equal 16, so yes, that is a match. That means this is the answer to this equation. All right. I told you guys that yesterday I wasn't feeling well, but I'll be on today online for a video chat at noon. So if you want to give some of these problems a try, and if you didn't try yesterday's work yet, go ahead and give that a try, or not yesterday, I'm sorry, Monday's, of solving equations, and then we can go through any questions you guys have so far on either one of those. All right, see you later. Bye.